God damn this mouse. Okay. So I've reduced that there. Hopefully that should be better. I'm going to pause the stream on my Twitch browser, which I never usually have to do, which is kind of annoying, so I don't know what's going on there. Hopefully things will improve then. I've paused the video on my side screen, so I don't know if anything's going to be like kind of wacky on Twitch's end, so I'm going to have to really rely upon you guys to let me know. Cannot believe how many technical bloody problems I've had here so far. Alas, carry on. So let's take a look then at ship sunk here today then. Kidapati is just south of Wake, actually. So, yep, these are all AMCs, which are only 1 point, but they're actually worthwhile taking out, because these are the guys that will be dealing with mines in the future, so I'm quite happy to have these taken out. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-ish. So that's good. It's only 12 victory points, but that's still 12 victory points. I mean, you've got to think about it this way as well. Those would be ships that we'd have to take out. But wow, look at that. Apparently 24 BF9Ds. I mean, obviously I don't think it's that many, but it's still nice. We took out a good number, which is good. Obviously, there's the fog of war that can still happen here, as far as I'm aware, but still good. He does as a Catalina apparently today, a PBY-5A, which I think we got on the ground, and he has a PBY-5 Catalina taken out there by operation losses, apparently. Donia 24k, good, very happy about that. So 30 to 1 there, that swings it in our favour. Obviously, it's not 30 really, as it's overcounting the B339s, but I'm pretty happy about that. It means we destroy a few more aircraft on the airfield there, quite cool, quite happy about that. Ship availability, yep, sure, take a look at that then. So in 2 days we'll have the Akizuki, which does have the amazing depth charges, the Type 2 depth charges. Also has the 100cm guns here. Those are, I'm 100% certain those are dual purpose, so I'm looking forward to having that. Okay. My naval shipyard points should be easing up soon enough. I'm looking forward to when they do, so I can start putting some more subs into production again. We're looking towards having... Right, so Yamato 63 days, which is good. Junyo, well, Yunyo is not too far away, which is good there. There's a DD, which one is it? DMS, I'm glad to see. I do like my DSS. We do have another TV there. Suzuka, Hatsuki... Hatasuki. Oh, Hatasusuki. I'm trying to look for the one. And there's one of them that has like a radar. Is it an army? I don't think it's the Anami. I can't remember which one it is. I feel like it began with a letter A. Which one is it? I believe it's accelerated actually, so I should just look for the acceleration. Ah, Nizuki. There we go, the Nizuki over here. Yes, she has a Titron radar. Looking forward to that. She's been accelerated, so we should ideally get her sooner. So that's good news. Okay. Ground unit reinforcements. A couple more engineering units over here at Tokyo in 3 days. Sorry, 3 and then 5. Wake Coastal Gun Battalion will be arriving soon enough. Obviously, we need to have Wake for that to arrive. So, everything really did actually go in our favour, which is really nice there. Right, we are seeing the units here, so 2 there, 1 there. So we're not seeing any more movement then, so he must have moved just these units then, okay. But he's not moved over here, which I'm happy about. I'm sure we'd have information on them here if he had done. So I'm happy enough about that. We do have our divisions marching over this way, Imperial Guard and 5th Division there. 30 miles into that journey. They're moving over this way. Yeah, just any source of radar would be fantastic. So... I waited here, and we can see that we do have a supply actually in hand now, so I can go ahead and attack. It did also give them a chance to actually recover some fatigue and disruption. Obviously, it doesn't make a huge difference, but it means some difference. It means some recovery there. But we will attack here today. So they're going to go ahead and attack. Now, we have the Thai unit over here, which is 60 AV on its own. It's not going to be strong enough to defeat that, but they shouldn't be moving out of here anytime soon. Considering the fact that there's no roads, and armored units move even slower in jungles, and they're moving in jungles, so that's going to be a very slow movement. They're likely never going to complete that. I do have as well... Oh, so 3rd Air Division's here. which is good, so I can put them into combat mode. So that gives us plenty more aviation support over here at Magway, which is good. I can also launch torpedoes from Magway now if I so wish to do so. Well, at least the surrounding area, the surrounding airfield out to a range of 4, which is excellent news. Turns that area into a nice cluster there. That's good, so they've arrived. We have a 4th RTA, which has arrived over here, so they can be unpacked. Actually, no, I think I had them packed up to head out anyway, just in case. So I've already got one here, and I've got one there. Yeah, these guys are sort of going to be acting as a reserve. I might have them unpacked, but 3 days is a long time to unpack. I'm going to have to get my mouse sorted, like, recalibrate. It's been super weird. But we'll attack over here again, so that is going to be 990 AV. That'll handle them quite nicely. How is this force along the Imphal, Kohima, Jitgong line? It's a great long list of names there. Well, that's a good question. So there's a force over here at Cox's Bazaar that we're aware of. Okay. So over here at Calcutta we're aware of a large amount of aircraft. 16 units over here. Right. 9, 10 there. So we know there's nothing over here at Akyab. I'm going to be going through instead of like taking a look at each of these bases, trying to get an idea of what we're dealing with there. Right, we've cleared the mines over here at Port Blair. Those DMSs, well, at least probably all 3 DMSs can head elsewhere. I do need to have some sort of mine clearing unit out there. Right, so we have these subs out here too. Anything special you're going for, like India or Australia? Well, I mean, this is it. I do float with the idea of attacking the Soviet Union, but that really, really depends on when we do take China, what sort of state we'll be in. If we don't do Soviet Union, and it's one of these things I've got to plan for what is probably more likely, but we'll be planning for Soviet Union and India. Not at the same time, but India or Soviet Union, or Soviet Union or India sort of thing. Can you show Dutch base? Oh yes, the Dutch base, yes, we'll take a look at that shortly. Yes, we'll take a look at that shortly enough. Over here in India, we're probably in a better situation than we would be due to the fact that we have destroyed a number of forces in Burma. He lost the 17th Division in here, obviously going to lose the armoured units out here too. Whatever is left in Burma is essentially doomed at this point. So that's good news. Right, they've arrived here so they can go into combat mode. God damn this fucking mouse. I'm having to fight, and it's really pissing me off. I just wish stuff had just worked today. That's so annoying. That's so annoying. Right, they're moving over that way. Right, they can head up over there. Okay. They're marching there. Righto. We'll take a look to the south shortly enough. I just want to get China sorted out here. Yeah, they did great there, so they can march on Quailin. Whoops, ops mode. Just have them follow. It's easier that way. And we see there just 6 units, 9 out of 10, so we'll be having that soon enough. That unit I'm not... 3 units, sorry. Not super aware of. So now it's about 400 AV there, so that's obviously not something I can take lightly. But I do have artillery moving up there to engage, and that's going to be great because he has no artillery beyond what's actually in the units. So I can pound them just repeatedly. We do have our unit deployed over here now, so that can begin marching into... I think we took that without... Yeah, I think we landed around any losses over there, which is excellent news. So they can head in there. Yep, they're unloaded, which is excellent. It's just a bit of supply there, so I can cancel that and have them head elsewhere. Namely to Nagasaki, Sasebo. Okay. Closing in now. Right, so that's closed over here on... I just need to close this side. I'm going to have a 20-second move this way. Actually, no, I think I have to go in a weird way. Oh, no, I don't. There's a secondary road there, so that works for me. Though I could move that way and close off Chuxian. What's Chuxian? Chuxian is like wooded road, okay. But I want to close that roadside to make sure that is done. I need a unit here, then. We'll have to get little units around here to make sure he can't get out, then. But things are going well. We did take Urumqi last turn, which I'm very, very happy about. Excellent. You can see all that fuel there. 14k oil and fuel's going to be very nice. These guys are heading out to the north. You can see they're making good progress already. They'll be there at Wasu shortly enough. They're heading up here to the north to act as a garrison. Right, it's waiting on the actual headquarters to arrive over here. They've arrived in position to stop them taking that base. Which is good. Okay. They're making progress. 11th Tank Division. Sorry, 11th Tank Regiment. I wish it was a division. 2 units are here now. And so whatever he's going to do it soon enough, I imagine. I just don't know what he could really do there. Another aviation battalion has arrived, which is excellent news there. So SunYan now has 55 engineers, so that is going to start to speed up, which is good. We're at 38% at the moment. There's an AA regiment moving up there as well. Not that matters. It doesn't have any engineers. But those 75 mils can come in handy elsewhere. We do have these guys moving up there. They're bringing, of course, additional engineers. So that's 24 engineers there, which is good. So we'll get more there. Still going to take longer than I would have hoped for. I don't know what he's doing with these units. Kind of annoying. So we've seen 31, so that makes sense. I think we saw there previously 34, so he's not moved any additional. 21 here. 2 units still there. But yeah, we're looking good here. Just need to get units shifted around, it'll be good. But yeah, this being open now is just amazing. Because that means we have so much here to do now. So what I can do is actually... I think I'll keep them in combat mode. They are on the other side of the river. They're likely fine. But I don't like the idea of them being hit by something crossing the river in a shock attack and pushing them back. So that takes some time to get back there. But that means that we have control of these hexes here now, which is excellent. We're going to march over here to the north. And that is secondary to major roads. So maybe about 3 days, 2 days, 3 days. Probably 2 days still. But around that, probably 3 days at most, depending. But they'll be able to move into Changsha from the south, which is good. So we do have these divisions, which are marching to Changsha now, which will then be able to help us out of that situation. So tomorrow, no, not tomorrow, in 2 days they'll be here. In 4 days they'll be here. And then in 4 days they'll be here. So about 12 days before they arrive at Changsha, near enough. But it depends. Probably a little bit less time. And that'd be great. And that base force is useful. Little units do come in handy, but there's not much else I can do with that. We do have this brigade which is going to march into Wuchang. And then I can head elsewhere. Then I can actually potentially use in this area here. Especially if he's moving that AV around. But that's excellent news. So, I mean, that's opened that up. And if we take a look over here, there's one... I mean, this is it. I could. And it did cross my mind to attack now. Like, to move across. But I think it's worthwhile to open this up. He may begin to move out. He can always move out this way to the north as well. So I need to... Whatever I'm going to do, I need to be able to do it and back it up. That's the thing there. I do need to have reconnaissance on these bases in the interior to make sure if they are empty, I can move in there to cut them off, which would be great. A couple of units there. It would have been nice if I had the 17th Division here, but we have to use it when it's required. Yeah, so we're looking good here, actually. Everything's moving as we want it to do so I'm happy about that. He's thus far not attacked over here. I do need more supply in Burma, really. That'll take some time to build up. But once we're done with the combats, that should be a lot easier done now. These are moving to the bases, so they're back at these bases over here, so I can have them picked up. I do have this Didi Usugumo. She's going to go ahead and take these bases around here, which is useful. Can have them picked up as well, I believe. We do have Christmas Iron Dio that can be taken too, so I can have them attack. There we are. Take these 2 bases here. Obviously, then keep on moving. Keep on trucking. How many men are here? That's quite a bit of infantry, so I'll have them loaded back up afterwards. But I think what I'll do, because it only took them a single turn to get here, and I do like them to traditionally survive operations. I'm going to have them sent back to Tillajap there. The reason being it just keeps them out of potential danger. Which works to my advantage. The sub over here has been taking flotation damage. That's pretty nasty. Hopefully she survives, but that's not looking good. So, let's hope for the best. Refineries are beat up. Oil not bad. Actually, we did pretty well there. We got 162 oil, we got 8 heavy industry, which is really nice. We got quite a lot of the heavy industry there. We got 145 of the refineries there, 34 of the light industry, and 7 of the repair shipyards, 68 of the resources, and one of the 2 manpower. I'm pretty happy with that, actually. It would have been nice to have had it intact, but that's pretty intact. That's pretty good. That's pretty good for me. Pretty good for us. So I can turn the repair of the oil on. So that's 28,000 supply to repair that, but that's worthwhile. The light industry is nice. The heavy industry is good. The light industry is also really nice to have. I'm glad I got quite a lot of light industry, because that's actually worthwhile. Then I'll just keep on trucking. I may go ahead and expand the shipyards, repair shipyards. And you still have access to the Japanese Doom escorts, like the Ukuro, Makuro. I'm not sure, actually. The shipyard, probably in the future. I might even go ahead and expand that, actually. What do we have in terms of supply here, Ben? So it's 25k supply here, 183,000 units of fuel. That's a lot of fuel, boys. That's a lot of fuel, ladies and gentlemen. We have here only 423 oil, so I mean, this is it. Obviously, that's been converted there, for the most part. That's a lot there. 183,000 fuel. That's quite a bit. Now, whether that was transported in from elsewhere in Java as well, not too sure. Are they repairing the oil here? It is set to repair. That's another 7k supply. Just need to get the oil repaired. But that's excellent news then. So we only need a 40 garrison here, which is going to be made up of a naval guard unit. Yes, more or less. Everything else can pretty much get moved out of here. Is there any damage to the base itself? No damage to the base itself. A little bit of port damage, but that port damage can be repaired quite quickly. We have a size 4 airfield. It's a very large port, in fact. Very large port. This is really going to be an excellent port in this area. It's probably worthwhile expanding the size of the airfield, considering that it can be done. But that's a very nice space. The good thing about Surabaya is it's actually fairly protected in some ways, because you can mine here, you can mine here. So at least you can control that access. Obviously, then they're going to get through here. It's not super well protected. It is and it isn't. We do have mountains, we have jungle rough over there. There is rough terrain over here. I'd have to put troops around here just to make sure he could just come in and just march straight on. We've got to be quite wary. If the infrastructure Java is both a asset and also a something of a weakness, because that could be turned against us pretty quickly, especially if the enemy brings armor. It's going to be quite some time before Java is even considered as a potential target. Need to go ahead and take that. I know there's a unit here, but there we go. The only target left on Java here then is Bandoen, so I can go ahead and send the units out that way, and we can finish that up. But other than that, we've had a successful invasion there. Let me go ahead and put everything into strategic mode here. And then I can make it easier that way. So 91st Naval Guard can remain here on rest mode. They do have a 13.2 MGs as well, which is nice, AMGs. I do have the Naval Guard as well. That's accessible. Oh, they have armored cars. That's just really quite cool there. That's pretty cool. Actually, for okay. How does that compare to the other one? Because they seem to have a little bit more equipment than the other. Equipment load is higher there. Load cost is higher, so they definitely do. Yeah, they're actually a much better unit in terms of equipment there. That's actually quite impressive. It's not a huge difference, but they actually have some howitzers and they have some 5mm guns. They have a couple armoured cars. And that's actually part of their OLB, so I'm quite happy about that. That means that'll stick around for a fair while. Quite happy there. What about when they upgrade? I don't know. I don't think that upgrades. I can't remember if that upgrades. No mortars, but they have the artillery. That's something. Right. 50-50 vision. How you doing there, Vulcan? We did have the fall of Surabaya, which is excellent. We did have quite a few technical difficulties, so you've not missed out too much on that front. How much is this important? It depends. Having the armoured cars is really quite nice. Right. We are going to have things sent over there. I was originally going to have some stuff sent over to Mindanao, but I don't think it's required. engineers would be useful, but then again, I don't think I want to be using these engineers there. The reason being, well, actually, nah, then again, these guys are part of OOB, so they do recover, but they do take some time. It might be worthwhile having them used elsewhere, because frankly, over at this base at Bandung, they'll probably surrender just due to numbers more than anything else. Yeah, I'm going to keep them intact. So let's go through this again. So, actually, what would be easier to do then is just go like that, send them there, set all to follow, and then at least I can do that. What I can do then is, we do have 16th Army, which does need to move out that way. Excuse me. I can move that way. The engineer regiment here can stay. Engineers will be useful. They're moving. They can remain. They also remain. They stay. Okay. Cool. Looking good there. So we do have a little bit of aviation support there, so could do with having some fighters based there, but that means that we can actually shift things around quite nicely, so I'm pretty happy about that. We do need to clear this out of mines, but we should be able to manage that. Well, it came up pretty well there. I mean, this is it. We didn't get it completely intact, but I think we did fairly well. I mean, that light industry is quite nice, quite happy about that. It would have been great to have not had to repair any of the oil, but 28k is not bad, really. And we have that. I need to make sure it's actually turned on. Excuse me. Production's on. Good. Repair the oil. Nothing else really is worthwhile repairing for the most part. But that's great. I mean, to have another 180k fuel there is excellent. Very nice. We did very well, Batavia, with that heavy industry there. Very well. I know, just making sure. I meant more so like refineries, but it's a good point. Okay. So we landed over here, which is good news. They're pretty good there, 6k supply, and I imagine they're pretty good with that. I may have them deploy that supply down this way. I know there's a unit here somewhere, and it might be taking that base, or it might be heading here. So we'll have to go ahead and deal with that at some point in the near future. Right, so they can be sent a bombardment. Mainland Station. Bombard Gagayan. Okay. So these troops being here is very useful. Yeah, Babo. I think we have troops heading to take that sooner or later, actually. There are troops in the area that will take that soon enough. Right, so set them all to follow. Make sure they're all the correct operations mode events set to follow. So we'll have them set out there. As long as I'm on the island, it's okay. Just need to get into these other bases, really. Okay. Supplies heading back to Manila. Which works. Okay. Yeah, so they can take that. Thank you very much there. Merry Christmas to you there, family friendly ball. That's good to have you, man. So we're over here. We can go ahead and attack. They're shifting to go there. Do have a couple more shifting around here. They're loading. Oh, they can be loaded up actually. Accept. Dock. Have that base. I can go ahead and. Is it better? We have Boella and Babo. So there's oil there. So go ahead and take that. I might change that destination. Dependent. We don't have that many days left of the landing bonus, so I want to try and get them if I can. But I don't want to open them up to undue attack if I can avoid it. Right, that's been taken, which is good. That needs to head back. Shouldn't have been on retirement allowed, in fairness. Oh no, man, it's great to be back. I did get the term back today from Dan, man bless him for putting the effort in here. APDs. I doubt that APDs. It's an interesting thing he's doing out there. Very interesting. Right, we do have supply heading down here to Ricardo Bay. Yeah, so I'd presume that we have at least some decent information here. Just outside range. If we were using G4s, they'd be within range. I mean, they'd still be within range if we went extended, but I'd like to make sure they had at least some escorts, if we can give it them. That's building up there to size 3 soon enough, so that's good. Supply enough there. I do have cruisers heading south. You can see that we do have... Oh, no. Well, close enough, but that supply heading south there. Where are they? Right, so those are the cruisers there. I may have them move directly on towards Val, but we'll see. They're currently headed towards Truck right now. So I see 2 ships over there. One was identified apparently as an AM, so it's probably going in there to lay more mines. Just a bit of a pain in the arse. I do have to be able to deal with them. And our BB Hilga actually made it out, which I'm really happy about. Is she detected? She's undetected, which is excellent. He has aircraft over here, but he's got severe storms overhead, and doesn't appear to be that many of them. Still have good detection on them though, which is nice to see. So, that's good. We don't have any other further intelligence out here. We know there were ships around here, but they appear to have moved elsewhere. Still detection on some of these guys. On one of these guys. He may be, frankly, here. We'd have to take a look at the distances travelled. WITP is undetected. We're undetected. Excellent, undetected. That's great news. And we do have... They move slower than I would have actually thought. I suppose it is some distance from Bikini, but okay. But we'll have the BBs arrive here tomorrow, so that's great news. We'll be able to move in there then. Very happy about that. Alright. And we have Yamashiro. Yamashiro shouldn't have actually headed here. She should have headed to WITP. But that's fine. But we have them there in the area. I decided to only send one AKE just because of the potential threat. So they can disband when they arrive. It's also additional supply there. These guys obviously will... they're going to be used as part of the landing to bring supply in there after the first wave goes in. Just to make sure that I can get supply in then for the second. Okay. We do see ships down here, an AK and a CM. That's good. I can actually try to intercept that. Sort of where they're using this area here. Okay. We do have Japan primed, if he does decide to come back. What we're using is obviously a mix of Betties, well, yes, of the G4M1 Betty and of the Mavises. So we have these guys flying out, so they fly out to 17. A little bit further than that. Yep, that's 17. So we have some over there. Have some there. Have a Nate's there established. Jake's over here. We have G3s and G4s at Tokyo. Aircraft there as well. Yeah. We still have the Hastings K4s there. We have G4s over here. And we have the Hastings K4s there. So we do have a much better detection network than we did previously beforehand. So I'm quite... Well, we did previously, I don't need to say beforehand. But we do have a better one now, which is excellent. And it is ready to go. He may never come back, but in fairness, we can't ever take that chance. Oh, we also do have ships that are going to be sent out this way to act as picket boats. Well, just pickets in general. Essentially trawlers, equipped with radio. If they spot anything, then they radio that in and let us know about it at high command. So he'll never be able to come in there, ideally. Well, never say never. Justin Bieber taught us all that. God bless his immortal soul. We have the tankers over here, which are in position and unloading fuel here, which is great. So we have 44k fuel here, 35k supply, so that's going to be increasing as well. This area has really been built up now. Have you invaded Australia? No. We have invaded this small part of New Caledonia. We'll be pushing down here shortly enough as well. Get in there. Get in there slowly but surely. I just need to get the supply into position. I may halt that airfield expansion. It's only 24 engineers actually, so I might as well continue because they're not going to be doing it anytime soon anyway. This goddamn mouse is being a pain. Gonna have to calibrate that after, which is really annoying. Right, so we're aware of that. Right, so we're aware task force is here, around this area. But it's good we see that one. We'll have subs redeployed soon enough to be able to go out and reach for those threats. Well, reach for those targets, I should say. Yeah, likely so. We are going to be building the zero strength up over here again as well. You can see that's being built up slowly but surely. So there's 32 there. We have 14 there. Another 31 there. And another 30 there. So that's a pretty good deal of strength that is going to keep on increasing, which is very nice. Have a K force here too. But they're currently just training, as they're not really required. We shifted our forces out here to the Carter Bay. So we have some G3M2s and some Mavises there. Looks like we've got about those. They're just currently just training here at the moment. Could potentially have them place on to naval search if we so we should do so. But that's it. Building up now. Just need to actually get the assets out here. But that is coming. It's interesting. I do wonder what he's actually attempted to do over here, but we actually do have the means to resist him. He's clearly got something in mind because he wouldn't just stick around here for no real discernible reason. So there's something. He might be waiting on carriers to arrive, but then I don't know why you just wait out in the open. It just seems daft. Because they are using fuel by doing this. I believe, I mean this is it, even in a hex, they're still using fuel. So he's spending to remain there. He has something in mind. Now, it screams like a red herring to me, I think that is the correct term. It screams like something of, oh, look at this, look at this. But then again, sometimes it does operate in the manner of like, okay, I'm going to show you my hand, and by showing you my hand, I'm actually going to have you believe otherwise, to disbelieve the truth. My lying eyes. We'll see. Yeah, potentially so. I mean, we'll get cruisers into that area, then at least we'll be in a much better position to protect ourselves then, which is quite nice. And then what we do is we keep on building up the airfields and expand outwards from there, and then we're pretty good to go. Yeah, BBs would be something of a concern, but we do have torpedo boats too. We do have mines. As for how much of a difference they make, not tremendous. It's good to have a threat, but we will have a growing number of actual aircraft in the area too. And being able to attack from multiple bases does definitely help us out. It does definitely help us out. Right. That would be pretty good to go, then. So yeah, we're looking pretty fine. We had a pretty marvellous turn, really. Pretty marvellous turn. Let's take a look at the R&D then, shall we? Okay. 27% there, so that's going to obviously be good tomorrow. Game to Sam. Honestly, the 8-3s go up more. We do have all of that there for the Knicks. They're going to be ready soon enough. Obviously, this isn't going to go anywhere fast, but obviously when we do have them, we'll have that production capability there, which is quite nice. Helens keep on ticking on. They'll arrive maybe a little bit sooner if that. Doubtful they'll arrive much sooner. Right, 8-3s, we still have that 6. Hoping that we might have had another 6, but it's ticking along. 84's there. Okay. So, naval shipyard there, still finely balanced. Oil production's increased, so we're at 31,190 now, 32,175 refinery capability. Good. How are we looking here at Tokyo in terms of resources? So it tends to linger around about, sometimes about 200k. Might have headed elsewhere. But again, I suppose we haven't had an influx of resources every time, but we should have much more regular influx of resources, so we should still be good there. How you doing there, Kak? Good to have you, my friend. Good to see you. New to channel here, so well. Okay. They're unloading supplies over here on these various different islands. I'm probably going to put some supplies on each of the islands and build them up. I'm going to build up the Etrocurals soon enough, actually. There are some construction work... Well, there is some construction work going on right now, actually. You can see we're actually going to be unloading engineers over here to this island. That's good. We're expanding the port over here at Shirojima. Size 2 is probably going to be enough. I don't know if I want to go for size 3. It could be useful, but it could also be very useful for him. But Shirojima is a useful island to have. It does function quite... it provides critical function for us all the way in the north there. Okay. So, developments then. We see a second unit arrive over here, but in fairness, they're still going to have to go through the 116th. That is in the times free terrain. It should be potentially dug into some degree. It's only got the one engineer there. That poor squad has had their work cut out for them there. But they do have 2 forts there. So that's nice. So they've got 2 forts in times free terrain. Obviously they're good troops, so that's going to be pretty tough order, tall order for the Chinese to push them out. They could try shock attack, but even then, I don't know. Maybe the second unit, depending on how strong it is, it might push them out. But if they do, then I don't know what they particularly gain. They're low on supply, so I can't imagine they're going to be doing great. Especially in that position, they're going to be low on supply. So we see 1 unit there, 1 unit there. Okay, I do dearly wonder when they're going to arrive. So we do have these engineers that have arrived in the base. The good thing about the engineers is they actually are going to help us to dig in these units as well. And that'll be useful. That will be useful. Has the 40th arrived? So the 40th has arrived back over here. I'm actually going to have it remain here at Hankau and recover. So I'll divide that unit and have that recover there. So we'll rebuild the 40th Division, which is now part of the 13th Air Division, which means it is actually an unrestricted unit, so we can send out whatever we wish to now, which is quite good. I also do have the division over here at Manila, but I've got to decide what I want to do with it. They don't have many engineers, and when I say they don't have many engineers, they have like 1 engineer. But then again, they do have the IGA engineers, or at least they should do. Yes, they have 16 there. So 17 engineers in total then, pretty much. So that actually does count for quite a bit. I'm undecided. I might have them sent back to Tokyo to rebuild or another very large base with lots and lots of supply. They may be okay in Manila, but obviously the supply situation is not great. So I might have them sent to Tokyo. And then at least we're not actually taxing the supply of an island. Well, of a smaller island than Japan. But I might actually have them sent out to maybe like the Marianas, begin to build up the Marianas. Just even being able to build up forts or airfields would be quite nice. Just get them up as soon as possible would be very useful for us to actually be able to do that. Okay. Right. A division. Maybe. It depends. We do actually have a second division that can be broken up now, which is good. There is a bunch of naval guard units heading south. If we need a division, we'll use a division, but I don't think we need a division. Are they not fully broke? Oh, God damn it. I was hoping that they would be fully unloaded, but apparently not today. That slows me down. 840 troops. Okay, it doesn't make a tremendous difference if they load quickly enough. I was hoping that they could have been fully broken up today, and then I could load them up today, but okay, that's fair enough. Very happy that they're making it out there. They've got to keep going there. Okay. Moving north. Bombard again. He'll know that Knibitai is within that area. He doesn't know exactly where, which is good for us. They don't have eyes on him right now. I can't imagine it's too far away. San Fran, Pearl Harbor, Roshilov. No detailed information over here, but we can presume it's a hubble activity. My opponent, Admiral Downman, is a tenacious bastard. We've had quite a horrific story trying to take this. But we're in a position now where it is going to fall. It's just simply getting the troops there. We've made it into such a situation where he has to either commit or he's resistant by using submarines and obviously doing what he can, mines and etc. But he's going to have to choose to commit or not. And as far as we've seen so far, he's not chosen to commit yet. He may use his carriers to do so at a later date, which is probably a wise idea. But he'll either commit or not. We'll see. I mean, he's a very good player. So these are being loaded up at Nagasaki. Nagasaki 2, I'd imagine. Yeah, I mean, this is it. I mean, it's been difficult for us because obviously it's difficult to see beyond there, and he's using carriers. It's pretty nasty. There's a good player. And it's only been Wake where we've had things really go terribly wrong. Near Palembang. Okay. Right, they're transferring. Oh yeah, taken out. Yeah, to begin refit. Okay. Oh, very nice. It's reported to have escaped capture. Cool. Okay, that's looking good. Yeah, so we are getting there. We are getting there. Quite happy over here. The port's been expanded as well. May as well. It's going to be a very useful position here. Just need to get more aviation units out this way, which we are going to be sending. I think there might be some underway already, actually. And a couple of aviation units that would make a big difference. I do have the 5th Fleet, which I'm going to send elsewhere, actually. 5th Fleet being a command HQ is actually very useful, as it does allow us to use torpedoes, which is excellent. Essentially free of charge, which is excellent. Gives us options there. Okay, they're complaining about supply, but that's going to arrive there soon enough. Yeah, they're building up there. Okay. I do have a aviation headquarters, yes, the 25th Air Flotilla here. That's going to be shifted out to allow for torpedo usage further to the north, possibly to Paramushirojima, but what we're going to do then is essentially have likely placed here to allow 2 bases to become operational. It's a difficult thing. I'd have to have something larger than an air flotilla to allow me to use multiple bases, and I might do that in the future, but it's worthwhile to have an air flotilla here so I can actually use 2. Or I could even have it based at Paramushirojima. It does depend, but I'd rather have 2 bases I can use torpedoes than just the 1. They're not... Well, this is it. But I might even have them... I might even have it potentially placed a little bit closer to Japan. They are somewhat open, and there's not a huge amount that can be done about that. Which is why we're going to have to look for multiple bases. The other US islands. Yeah, I mean, that was the plan there. I'd like to do so. It depends really, of course. I can't give concrete information right now, but we do have assets in the north to actually allow for such an attack. Like, we do have Naval Guard over here to actually allow for an attack. I just simply need to have information. Obviously, we're not going to be able to do it before the end of the landing bonus, it seems, but... Ah, well. They can just plan for the islands they want to attack. There's not many islands out there that are actually held, so it's not too bad, I guess. Okay. So, a pretty good turn then. We really had things go in our favour, which happens every now and then. Quite happy about that. In the Bering Straits. I don't think that particularly counted. I mean, that base would be nice to take. Excuse me. Having the side street ports is very good. The airfield of 2 is pretty good. Be nice to have as an outpost. Which is probably never going to happen, but it'd be useful. It would be useful. If only he could probably just bomb it if he wanted to. But even then, he's bombing a base, which he's going to have to take back anyway. Oh, yeah. So things are moving. We should have fuel. Yep. Okay, so it's 20... is that 23k? Yeah, 23k of fuel is going to be moving into... And then we'll talk tomorrow, which is very good. That means we can actually get that in there. It means then we have another source of fuel nearby. Gives us more options. We'd still have 2 AOs over here that are loaded at Quadrillane that we can use too, so we should do so. So I'm quite happy about that. Going to make sure we have the actual logistics. The good thing is because we do have the... you can see that we have been building up our presence over here as well. The fact that we have additional G3s is very useful. If I look there, 14. It's just outside range. I thought it was just within range, but no, we're just outside range. That's what I was thinking of then. Okay, fair enough. That's fine. Provides protection in this area. Obviously, if we could move it up further, I'd be happier, but I can't particularly. I probably will build up any other talk in the future to have like at least a size 2 airfield. That would have been very, very useful, to be honest. Oh well. Too late at this point. We could start, but it's still going to take some time, especially as it's going to be over expansion. And that'll take time. Okay. Now it's all looking good. Marching ever closer to our targets. So I'm aware of what's there now, so I don't need to bombard again. Just wait for the Azcona to arrive. They're moving north. Actually, that needs to remain there. They're heading there. And they're there for right now. $160 gallons requirement. Yeah, looking forward to that. But we have now the critical point, I suppose. Yes, I'm very happy about that. It does also make it much harder for supply to flow from this part of China to this part of China too. Well, I don't think anything's really going to be much flowing. It could do, but I can't imagine it being very easy. At all, really. Very happy about that. Yeah, it'd be very difficult for things to arrive down this way. Having these 2 divisions take Quailin would be quite good. That nets us more victory points. Over here to the north end. Looking pretty good, so I can go ahead and attack. I do have a headquarters in position here as well, so they can actually aid us quite nicely. It gives support to that division and to the regiment. So they're quite good. We do have the airfield damage over here, so he's not going to be able to rebuild those fortifications, so I'm quite happy about that. We carried on nitpicking over here. I could probably increase the amount of bombers, but I just don't have an airbase as close as I want to be with enough aviation support that I would prefer. They're moving south there, okay. They're moving in towards them. They'll arrive tomorrow, which is good news, so I can attack them. And we'll have that then. I see. How you doing there, Carlos? Yeah, no, it has been, hasn't it? It has been a terrifically long time. Paoshan's really quite light. There's only 2 units. For when we looked at Paoshan closer, I think it was only about 1,000 or 2,000 men. It was not a lot of men. And they are going to be going up against 2 fairly intact divisions, actually. Yeah, 480, 461. Oh yeah, they're just shy of a little bit. Christmas has been good. Thank you very much there, my friend. I do hope yours has been good. I do hope so indeed. I got a new phone, which is nice. I actually said to my family, just don't buy me anything. There's no need. It's pretty fine. So it was actually quite a big surprise. It was a really big surprise actually. Didn't expect it. So a very nice and generous gift to them, really. Sometimes I think as you get older, it's probably you're not so much interested in gifts for yourself, more so giving gifts to others. Pure regards. Indeed. So that's quite good. I got my little brother the Wrath and Glory second version rulebook so he can play with his friends. He jams games at school for his friends of D&D, so I'm like, oh, that's good. Let's get a chance here to get them into 4K. So, got that one. I've got all of the... I finally managed to complete my collection of the Final Flight Fantasy rulebooks, and this is where I talk about it because nobody gives a shit, but I give a shit. I'm happy about that. Oh dear. I'm going to have to look into GM a game at that. I'm probably a bad GM, but it could be fun just to get people doing something. It'd be a nice way to chill out myself. Ah, gosh, so much Japanese to do. So much. I think to myself sometimes there's like a parallel universe where there's like a marshal who decides just to go for history. Probably ends up unemployed at the end of it, but it probably enjoys university a lot more. has more free time, more carefree, but I'm not in that universe. I got almost 5k in cash. Jesus Christ, my man. Oh wow. That's I want to be a part of your family. I should have been given to you. But wow, okay, man. I hope that helps out. It has been a very, very shitty year, hasn't it, really? And I've been insulated by living at home, being at university. But for those of you who are out there, obviously suffering, but you have more than my sympathy. Right, I've loaded up there. Shouldn't be too bad. I think I will wait until they're fully loaded. There are some tankers on the way, actually. Are they on the other side now? They're there. Good. Okay. We've got another... at least another 3 days there. Maybe 4 days. So we'll give them another 3-4 days to carry on loading up fuel. And then they can take that out. I thought it worthwhile to have them do so. So we don't have a great need for APs right now. Excuse me. Okay. But we're actually looking pretty good, to be honest. We're actually looking pretty good. So our stockpile of oil then stands at 2.85 million tons at the moment. Fuel. Why is it? It doesn't show me fuel here, which kind of annoying. I'd have to look on a tracker for that. I could see by this, I guess. I'll just sort by oil. Check it to sort by whatever, it doesn't particularly matter. Indeed, indeed. As you can see there, 984,000, so 984k, 4621, 238 there. Yeah, by catching sorry by that's become the 4th largest then after Tokyo, Fukuoka, Palembang there. I was quite happy about Balikpapan. Of course, they have been drawn from. Well, yeah, that's good. We can get that moving to where we need it. Yeah, exactly. We're looking pretty good. I mean, we've gained access to oil over here in northern China that we shouldn't really have access to, so I'm really happy about that. That's been repaired over here at SunYan, so that's excellent news. So we should be seeing more oil at Port Arthur than we would ever see, which I'm very happy about. You can see that we have 277k oil there. Plenty of resources. Yeah, I mean, this is it. Taking China is going to be really nice for us. Which direction we take the war in after that, I'm not too sure. Likelihood is going to be India, but we'll see. Soviets might be an option, but it's one of those of where are we ever in a truly good enough position to take on the Soviets? Can it be done? I don't know. Is it worthwhile making another enemy? Yes and no, because the earlier you find them, the earlier that you could potentially have a chance at defeating them. And I mean, after a certain point, there's no chance. I mean, it's very, very, very close right now, to be honest. And every day, it gets a little bit harder. But then they will be attacking us in 45, but then does it matter that much in 45? Do we make it to 45? Yeah, it's one of those, really. The thing that does matter is all the Chinese troops that we destroy, that VP is retained, and that gives us a greater buffer there to use against him. And we've got 17.8 there to his 7, so we're actually looking pretty good there. We're at more than 2 to 1 now. We just need to keep on pushing that if we can. A bigger buffer as ever is great. Yeah, I mean, that's it for. We'd have to go about it in a certain way. It's one of those operations you can't just start casually. What we'd do is we'd take the bases on the periphery and essentially just yeah, make sure that he can't transfer troops in there, so he can't transfer aircraft in there. That would be the plan. Making it possible for him to do that. But yeah, we'll see. There's reasons obviously to not attack, but there are reasons to attack. It's one of those where it's not completely undoable. It's just obviously difficult. We'll see. I mean, I'm probably going to be going for the subcontinent of India. The reason being, well, as I stated earlier, he is in a fairly unique position. He has been weakened on land quite nice, which I'm happy about. He's still strong in the air game, still got strength there, obviously at sea, but not as much. But obviously we do have the ability to keep on pushing out with our air power, so we'll see there. Key 27 versus B17. Well, I mean, that situation's not going to come about. Yes, he can transfer those aircraft, but he's actually got to get them. I mean, what we'd do... I mean, this is it. We wouldn't just invade by attacking here. You'd have to take all these bases that you could. He's not going to have aviation support at each of these bases, so you could have a lot of them taken out. The thing to bear in mind as well is, like, heavy bombers is he's not going to have a lot of them. He really isn't going to have many of them. He'll have a few, but he's not going to have as many as he will do in later years. We'll produce far more fighters than he does in bombers, so it'd be a situation that we'd win. It could cause damage, but it couldn't cause a humongous amount of damage. He just doesn't have that kind of power yet. Heavy bombers are a threat, but then they certainly don't win the war by themselves. How much to crush the Chinese completely? He allowed us to use the Kwantong army, so I think he kind of knew something like this was going to happen from the start, but it's always been a very interesting situation in China. We're in a position where the end of China is definitely within sight. It's no longer a mere hope, it's pretty much a certainty at this point. We just need to bring it about. But we're looking pretty good. I mean, if it's about 1500 AV at Kienko, that's pretty damn good there. I really do want to have an airfield to be able to support advances in that area, to be honest. I really want him to get his ass out of Changsha so I can actually have all those engineers turn that into a second level base immediately. But what can we do? I just need an airbase. Large enough to support the bombers. Xi'an's more than likely going to be that base. My mouse there decided to die for a second. We'll see. We are getting there. I mean, I might be able to take a base out here. I don't know if I said it closer, but we'll see there. How you doing there? Just good to have you, my friends. We have our divisions marching this way. We're looking good. There's parts of China that are going to be difficult to take. Well, more awkward than others, but can be done. Do a bit more garrison over there, actually. I might fly paratroopers there, actually. And I've so... Oh, I didn't know about that evoke, and that's good to know about. He has a lot of force, obviously, in this area, because that's where it is reconstituted. He does have a couple cores over here. There's about 3 or 4 cores. A couple cores in this area, but nothing really major. We had the fall of Surabaya, my friends. That went really well. Quite happy about that. We did have a lot of technical difficulties. That kind of sucked. I don't know how it's going to look on the video side of things, so I'll just probably upload the last video. But no losses, only gains, which is actually good. No catch, only throw. No throw, only catch. So pretty good for that. Push on towards Quailin. I mean, over here to Quailin. I mean, the amazing thing about China is all those resources that we're going to gain. How much of a difference it makes? Well, I mean, this is it. If we can get another couple million tons of resources into China, sorry, into Japan, I'm going to be very, very happy with that. All that oil into China, sorry, into Japan, is going to be great. The Dutch are around barely. I mean, this is it. It's only 26th of March, so we're actually pretty I'm not too sure how we stack up in terms of comparison to the actual timeline, but I mean, this is obviously in reality, things went differently. People tend to surrender when they're completely outclassed, or not even when they're outclassed, they can just surrender because of psychological elements. But I don't think we're doing too bad. I think we've taken sort of, well, we're taking Java pretty quickly. We also did have quite the wait there for storage buyer, but I think it's worthwhile to assemble enough force to make sure it happened and happened on the first time. And it did. I think it's worthwhile doing. It could have potentially fallen earlier, perhaps, but I think it's worthwhile to do so. It meant that we went in there, took pretty much no losses besides one squad being destroyed, and we came out like bandits. I'll have enable units sent to take that base and this base here. Just that base to take now. Excuse me. Which we'll see is given, well, gaining more. Yeah, we've got troops over here now, so that'll be ours. Next turn, that'll be ours as well. So we're going to be taking these bases as well to try to capture them as quickly as possible, and that'll be good to go. Yeah. We do have things being moved around the Empire as well in places. A lot of aviation supposed to be moved elsewhere too. That's going to be good. I just need to get these guys in position. Yeah, I mean, is there any important bases left in the Dutch East Indies that aren't ours already now? I think we've got essentially every major base in Dutch East Indies. It's just a couple more that will be taken in the next few days. I'm going to say, can I actually rail? No, I can't rail there because I don't own the base. Would have been nice if I could have railed there. Babo's not exactly a major base. Do you mean like with oil? If you mean oil, then okay. There's only those two there, but they're going to fall pretty quick. They should be moving out. Yeah. Looks like they're loading up. So we'll take a couple more bases there. That's good. Alright, looking good. How are we doing on the building effort down here? It's been kind of just ticking on quite nicely. 10k supply here built up, which is good. That airfield's been expanded. Excellent day. Kopang. I think I'll just go ahead and build up the fortifications. Ha, I preempted you there. Going well. Going well. I think I'll build up that airfield, considering we still have 67 engineers and 8 vehicles there, might as well. My bloody mouse is just dying to be recalibrated. I don't have flying boats in this area. It could have been done, but I just don't have them in this area right now. I think those flying boats are elsewhere, actually. I'd have to double check where those are. In future we might do that. And I think I still have the paratroops over here at BLeAcHACiD. Oh no, they've been shifted over to Java for the time being. I think they've been marched up here. An auto take of a base could only happen one at a turn. Automatic captured bases kind of go by AV close by to the base. But a lot of these are kind of a pain in the arse. So we'll just have to go out there and take them. Hey, Java. Infrastructure. And Japan. Not really. Just R&D that's being prepared. There's no real infrastructure developments in Japan. Oh, I mean, obviously we have airfields. We have airfields being built all over, really. We've got to size 6 over here, which is quite nice. Very happy about that. No, I can't get to Horn Island in 5 turns. I mean, I could if I wanted. Well, actually, no, I don't think I could even get that there. That'll be fine. We can take that one. The landing bonus being gone is going to hurt, but it's not the end of the world. Which obviously makes things a little bit harder. This area's always been a difficult one. I mean, we've essentially neutralised Port Moresby, it's just the issue of, well, we know there's a bunch of ships over here. He does look to be building up Khans, but we can manage that. Yeah, happy to see this at size 6 now. I think I'll probably just go ahead and build up the fortifications for the most part. I don't know if it gives you the option to build up the port, which is a really crazy thing. I don't know, I think I'll build it up, but I don't think you can actually head up here. Either it's a very small ship that can head up there, or you just, I don't know, it's very strange. But I'll do so anyway, because if it has the port, then it should in theory be able to have port to plane transfer. which should help us out, but it has a road anyway. But I don't know, if it gives me the option to, I'll be able to do it. It does also mean that we have a large base and that we can, in theory, negate the effects of malaria then, which is quite nice. But I'll build up the actual fortifications then afterwards. Okay. Looking pretty good. Yeah, taking a case supply there, so I'll arrive tomorrow. He's close, but I don't think he could arrive there in that turn. Maybe he could. No, I don't think he could. He'd have to go a roundabout way. He could maybe just about do it if he goes full. But I don't know why he would. Who knows? We march from Buna to PM or we invaded via sea. I prefer to do it navally because it is far quicker. Yeah, I know you guys really have a hard on for PM. And I agree, it's one of those, isn't it? Just has to be taken. I prefer to do it navally, but obviously we don't really landed bonus that's going to suck. So we could march across from Bugna, which would mean like no real losses, but it would take a fucking long time to do so. We'll see when we get into that position. I'd prefer to do so navally, but I'd have to obviously have ships to ensure that. But we do have ships in the area that'll be heading out this way. We probably would take some losses, so it's one of those that's worthwhile for those days. But I mean, the days taken to travel to Port Moresby is days where those troops can't be doing anything else. It's days where we're not doing other things, potentially. But it depends, with those troops at least. We'll see. I think we are in a position where we could actually command this area. We do have, obviously, all these air bases over here that could support any forces in this area. Of course, we do have Zeros that would be increasing in numbers over here too. Sure, he might have heavy bombers. Sure, he might have Warhawks or whatever he has in Australia. But I don't think he'll have enough mass to really do something there. Yeah, if only we had an air-landing division. Even then, it probably wouldn't be able to take it like that. Maybe, probably. It depends. Be a hell of a risk. He's very likely to be low, very, very low on supply here. We have been hitting it pretty much all the time. So I'm quite happy about that. Yeah, we saw that he tried to reinforce it and he looks to have given up on it. So it might be just simply withering away on the vine here. But obviously we'll go ahead and ensure that. We're looking pretty good. So this has been the longest stream than it really needed to be honest, but it's been good to be back. I hope you guys have missed it. It's been a long time. It feels like a very long time. But we'll be getting back into it more regularly now, hopefully. University is tremendously difficult. But I'm getting better, so hopefully things will get a little bit easier. Hopefully I have a little bit more time. Any other islands you want to take us up to Wake? There are, of course, other islands. I'd like to take these Gilbert Islands down here. And speaking of that, I do have these 3 DDs over here, Yakazi, Takakazi, Karatake, which I'm going to actually have. God, my mouse, I'm so going to recalibrate you. But yes, I do have these DDs that are going to be sent out here to take a couple islands in this area. Just do so quickly if I can, and that would be quite handy. So, my mouse is pissing me off. As you can see, it's fighting me. So, I'm going to go ahead and recalibrate that. Thank you so very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully, we'll get the turn done soon enough, and we'll be able to move on to the next one. Are you going to connect South Northern China? Yes, we'll take the entirety of China. I have studied Japan for 1 year as a second year student in university. Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Tremendous fun. But it's fine. I'll get there. I'll get there in the end. I don't need it first. So I don't think I can get it first. Maybe not. I don't think I can get it first. But if I can pass, that's good. That's good. Oof. I shall see you guys later. Follow me here on Twitch. Be much appreciated. If you do have big bucks, Amazon Prime, perhaps do consider subscribing. It doesn't cost you anything, but it does help support me as a content creator. So, looking terribly forward to seeing you next time. Sayonara. Madaraishi. Mata, cha, mata. Yeah, tell me about kanji. Fuck kanji. I'd recommend using Anki. Anki with Wakakani, Wakakani Ultimate. And just go through it. Just takes time, but it's worthwhile doing. It is awesome to use. Until next time, goodbye.